The marketing of love. It looks like we got Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle combining for a seminar on beautiful chaos, how to find meaning in a messy world. Oh, that's the marketing of love. The selling of a lollipop bubble so you can feel good about yourself against a structure that is disordered. You know, real spirituality would want to tear down the structure that is causing all the problem. It's not about teaching humans how to love. Humans do not need spiritual teaching on how to love. We know how to love. Our civilization of what we've built already proves it. We built a civilization of caring for each other, of growing food for the masses, of transporting the food and taking care of humans. We know what love is. We do not need to be taught spirituality and love. It is our essence. It is our human soul. It filters up through our family. Humans are not broke like we think we are. We know what love is. Inside our human soul is perfect love, innate, 100% joy and compassion. This is our heart. Humans are not disconnected from this heart. In fact, it is our presence no matter what you believe. Let me give you a good example how the system actually works. You go home, you have 1 or 2 or 3 kids. Your kids are in here. You love your kids. Everybody does. It's the human state of compassion, of caring. Raising a kid teaches us love. We all care for our kids. But as an adult, when we leave the nice home environment, we'll run into a system that doesn't allow that love to keep expressing to other people. It could be a banking structure. I mean, you have a banker here that by the rules of his place of business, he has to foreclose on this family due to foreclosure laws. It's written into his system. How can he increase his awareness level? How can he let his love come up through his being when he has to participate with laws that cause destruction to another human? Well, he can't. But when he goes back to home and he revisits his family atmosphere, he's all about love. He feels his love for his kids and his wife. That is real. I cannot move my consciousness into a higher state because my personal being is tied to you through this ego consciousness. The only way we can erase enlightenment is we can't do it in one person saying that, yes, I'm aware, I have intelligence, I have a spiritual being. We all have that. We have to raise the entire group of time up together. That's how we create enlightenment in all. Other than that, when you're teaching that you need to improve your awareness, you need to do this and that comes off as religion. Religion's been doing the same thing for years. It installs a bubble of, yes, I want to be loved. It's just like a born-again Christian. God has saved me. I'm in God love. When I die, I'm going to be saved. I'm going to know what love is. Well, the spiritual side is the same thing. It's a lollipop form of love that, we just end up denying reality. It just puts us in a zone of accepting the beautiful chaos and how to make meaning out of it. Well, it's time to end the chaos and stop making meaning out of it and see it for exactly what it is. We are dealing with social systems that start from our education process that are affecting human consciousness, that suppress our inner love. It's time to change the social structures. Because when we change the social structures, we're no longer trying to teach human how to love. We are releasing the love that's in them to come out and operate in a better environment. The environment dictates the majority of human behavior. We don't need to teach humans how to love anymore. We just need to supply a platform that allows them to operate their love out into the world. A true spiritualist will teach that money is not real and it needs to be dismantled because it's completely destructive to our consciousness. Therefore, if I write a nice book and I put it on the market for you to buy and I make lots of money, and then I go out and I buy a big mansion and I get behind a gated community, there's no spirituality to that. That's just a cog in the system of perpetuating the money illusion, of separation. This whole marketing of love thing that's caught in capitalism, selling you books, selling you DVDs, selling you meditation, selling you that you need to raise your awareness so you can gather more abundance. It'll attract in a nicer home, nicer cars. All of that is not true. Real spirituality is about dismantling the money structure, dismantling the material objects to where you're not owning them, you're sharing them. In fact, sharing them is the extension of love. I learned this principle from Jack Fresco. He's not a spiritualist at all. In fact, he doesn't even like the term love. But he, rather than spiritualist involved in the marketing of love, is the most advanced thinker on the planet, has been for the last 30, 40 years. He understands what a sharing community can do. He understands that the outer environment is the majority of human behavior. That environment causes us to do bad things. Not because we want to do bad things. It's because we're fighting for money. We're fighting for this. We're fighting for that. We're not sharing. So, while we're fighting and not sharing, we have this other group of people that are writing books and doing DVDs telling us that, yeah, you're screwed up. You gotta start loving each other and become self-aware of what you're doing. Well, we do know what we're doing. I mean, we go back and raise our kids. For the most part, we're raising beautiful kids. We know what love is. The marketing of love, whether it's spiritual or religious based, it really needs to disappear too, because it's idolization. That needs to disappear. What we need to do is start concentrating on the social systems that we have built, mainly education, because education, the education that we do, is really an education of survival and ego consciousness. Let me get into our systems, because if we really want to change the world, we need to change our systems. Humans are just fine the way we are. We understand love. We're very aware. We know what love is. We raise good families. We need to change our social systems so we can allow love out into the world. Our own love. Our extensionalism of love into the world.
My father disowned me because he's a hypocrite. On a personal level, he's a loving father. But when he puts the Hamas mask that he cannot exist without, he's a monster, he's something else. And this is the problem with that society conditioning. That if you take individuals on the side, they're just human beings like us. Any of us could have or have been brought in that environment would be conditioned in the same way.
For some reason, we think spiritual enlightenment is based, that moves towards an abundance. Once you become spiritual enlightened, you get all these nice things, like a nice big house, nice cars. Those are all material things that the inner soul, especially the material of a house and cars and stuff, the inner soul is telling us you don't want that stuff. It wants us to disconnect from material. A spiritual leader does not live in a mansion behind a gated community. That leads to separation from the human species. It puts you in a different arena. That's not what Jesus would do. If Jesus was walking earth right now, he would not buy a $15 million mansion and go live in it. He would be living on the streets teaching how to change the social structures that are affecting us. And of course, one of them would be money. I have read Deepak Chopra's financial fixes for the markets. Just him alone writing on how to fix the financial markets means he's missing the point of the money manipulation to consciousness and how it affects our decision making, how it tears down the love that we want to build from our hearts. This is an apple. Earth grew this apple for free. I went in my backyard and I picked it. I didn't pay a dime for it. This is the manipulation money has brought to human consciousness. Why can't we, in our inner cities, plant a bunch of apple trees, orange trees, tomato trees, and let the homeless pick what they need so they can have food? The reason? Man has attached money to Earth's resources. They are no longer free. Somebody must make a buck off of selling this apple. Somebody must make a buck off of selling water. Somebody must make a buck off of selling energy. That's the manipulation to human consciousness. We've attached something that is not real, that is basically numbers in our computer system. If you remember one of my other videos, our cash on the street is about 6 to 8%. The money that we actually hold in our hands is just to make it feel real. The majority of wealth is just in a computer system that the very rich and powerful get to control. They control the numbers in the computer system. They get to attach it to what should be free that can feed us all. It's a money system of scarcity. That is the environment that causes us to fight. When we fight, we do not allow our perfect human soul to filter up into our actions. Our minds are busy fighting for money. This is America, our population. America is unique for one reason. The system that developed out of industrialization actually produced a middle-class income. That middle-class income gave us nice homes to live in, and we had lots of them. The environment was of a sharing nature, so it's a peaceful nature. This is how society creates a criminal. Criminals aren't criminals just because they want to be criminals. No, they're caught in an environment that forces them to do bad things. Pull any one of those criminals out, give them a nice home, like we have, give them food and shelter, and end the fight for money, they stop being criminals. They're no longer criminals. They're humans that are experiencing sharing and love. It's the outer environment that they live in that is causing them to do bad behavior. It's bad behavior for survival. The black neighborhoods of our inner city are loving human families. And they are doing bad behavior stuff in their environment because humans aren't sharing. We aren't building a better environment for them to be in. As soon as we build a better environment for the inner cities, crime disappears. You give a criminal a home, food, and shelter, they're no longer a criminal. So we've stopped projecting them as criminals. We've changed their reality. That is the extensionalism of human love outward to another human. That is the definition of love. You can't be a bubble of love taught by religion or spirituality and be in a shell of not wanting to change another human's situation. That is just a bubble of, hey, I need to teach you that you need to be enlightened, that you need to make better decisions, you need to be more aware, you need to be in contact with your soul. They are in contact with their soul. They know what love is. Criminals know what love is. They love their kids just as much as you do. But they live in a system that they can't express their love due to the scarcity of money, due to the manipulation of money. So they fight for it. A criminal must fight for his survival. He's fighting for money so he can feed his kids. He'll sell drugs to feed his kids. Unfortunately, the other people in that environment, since you take an area like Compton or downtown Detroit or the poor neighborhoods of Chicago, it's such a depressing environment that the people there do drugs just to get away from the depression of the environment. And yet we criminalize those people. And then we criminalize the people that are selling the drugs because they're only trying to survive in that same environment. That is an insane system of scarcity. That's a system of using money as a manipulation to consciousness. Because we're basically telling humans, well, you don't deserve money, you don't deserve an education, you don't deserve to be a part of the system, you have to get a student loan, you have to go into debt, you have to play by their rules, you have to play by the capitalism rules. And then we can allow you into the nice middle class arena of sharing. The nicer illusion. The little bigger lollipop of love that doesn't want to face reality of what really needs to be done. We need to fix our social structures of money and scarcity. Money must be dismantled because we don't need it. And I'll show you the direction. What we need is automation and technology. In fact, it's coming anyway. So all this middle class stuff of peaceful environment that we've got for the middle class, automation is going to come in and take those jobs. Everything's going to be automated. So we need to get to a system of making money positive, guaranteed income, so people can live, because basically technology is going to tear down economics anyway. We can build a world right now that automation supplies our food, supplies our housing, and enough food for everybody, to where an apple, there's no reason to pay for an apple anymore. We built a system that monitors the growth of the apple, that fertilizes it, that doesn't harm Earth at the same time, that picks it, and then it goes into an automated system and delivers it to whoever needs it. No labor involved. that's not going to only happen with an apple, that's going to happen across manufacturing too. So our labor force is going to slowly dwindle down, and we're not going to need money because it's harmful anyway. We build all these nice laws from lawyers and judges that if you steal an apple, you're going to jail because you're a thief. Earth produced that apple for free. Man attached money to that apple. Man attached money to a home. Man attached money to a car. Man attached money to all the materialism that they are trying to sell you. Enlightenment by the human species is not about materialism or owning materialism. It's about the proper use of materials to extend your love out into the world. I'm not going to teach a criminal that he is making bad decisions or is low awareness or that he has to learn love. No. I want to teach that we need to change his social structure, his environment. If we improve his environment, he will automatically stop being a criminal. His inner soul is saying, I'm not a criminal. I'm perfect. I know what love is. But that message can't filter up into his mind because his mind is so distracted by the money and the scarcity and his environment, which leads him to do bad things, like sell drugs, or rob a liquor store, or beat an old lady over the head for her purse. It's a simple solution. We just need to make money a liquid. It's a social fabric. It needs to be a liquid. Because when you take a criminal and give him a nice home, food, and shelter, and a decent life, he'll stop being a criminal. Because he doesn't want to be a criminal. He doesn't like being a criminal. He doesn't like robbing people. No one does. That's not the human soul. That's not the human nature. We've just built a social system, environments that affect our consciousness, all based on money and scarcity. We're time fragments of the human species. We're all tied together in this time age. And yeah, I can work on my own thoughts and they can become clearer and all that, but they really cannot become something special without the whole environment changing and every human in the environment changing. And that is not going to happen until we change our education system. Our education system from kindergarten to college is all about teaching survival in a money system. That's what it teaches. We're taught to believe in money. We're taught in grade school. concept of money. That concept of money turns into a nationalism of America and the dollar. Nationalism divides us from other nations because they do the same thing. They have a system, they teach their kids about money, how to survive in their culture of money. And they have the yen and their system of money, which leads to a division. We're taught division. We're taught survival. Football, perfect example. Schools have football teams. Playing football teaches you how to be competitive and angry and how to win while being angry and competitive. I mean, that's what it does. That's a lesson that filters through the whole school, whether you watch the game, participate in the game, or coach the game. It teaches survival. Then you move on to college. You get an MBA, master's degree in business. An education of how to manipulate money to your advantage, how to win at that manipulation. It's why a banker can't learn to be love and light when he has to go to the work the next day and foreclose on a home. That's not love and light. He's following the rules of his social system, the manipulation of money attached to a building. We really don't need that. I mean, seriously, we can build housing, transportation, a sharing society without money. That's an illusion. That's a manipulation that we need money to do these things. We don't need money. All this stuff is free. We just don't believe it's free. In fact, what's really sad is our education is an ego consciousness education. Justice. It produces lawyers and judges. It is a system of self-rejuvenation. So when the lawyers and judges get old and retire, there's a new crop of lawyers and judges to replace them. They do the same rules. They'll throw a criminal in jail for selling drugs. They'll recycle the same rules. Our education is an ego consciousness structure that is constantly recycling itself with new energy. Starts from kindergarten, goes right back to they're raising you up in this system to accept this system. This is why we can write these beautiful pieces of beautiful chaos, how to live with it, how to make meaning out of it, how to add meaning to the struggles and the suffering that you go through to the system. It's unnecessary, completely unnecessary. In fact, those little bubbles that the spiritualists create that tell you that, oh, you must improve your awareness and that you are love and you should meditate. Yeah, okay, that's a bubble that makes you feel good against this structure. But that bubble, every time it hits this education system of ego consciousness that is revolving through our social structures as our environment, that little bubble just gets burst. It's immaterial. It's an illusion of love because love is the extension of your inner self into the environment to serve, to help, to create, to bring about. And when you're not doing that or can't do that because of a social system, I guess it's a good lollipop bubble of feeling good. So at least you don't go totally insane in the stupid environment that we're all living. And I speak from experience. I mean, I can meditate and do some wonderful things with my own soul. I can talk to it and access light. But does that light change my mind into a higher state of awareness beyond this time zone, this time frequency that we all share as consciousness? No. It does help me to think clearer and see reality in a certain way. But does it match my inner nature of love that I know is immensely more powerful than my mind? No, it doesn't do that. It can't do that. I can't raise my awareness level to such a height outside this time frequency that we share on a world platform of consciousness. This is because we are linked through time. We are fragments of time linked together. So for me to say that I am more enlightened than you and that you should follow this path and this is how you become more enlightened, that's not true. We have to improve the environment for everybody in this time period, and that's what time does. As time goes on, the environment continually improves. 2,000 years ago, we were barbarians. We were killing each other with swords. We were fighting little gang members, little gang tribes fighting each other. That's all we did. Well, now we got bigger countries that are more peaceful, like America. It's pretty much a bigger piece, slice of peace, slice of serenity. Yeah, we still got our little skirmishes inside the cities and stuff, but when we figure out that the environment is causing that, and we improve the environment, America will be a beautiful place. Then we can take it to the next level. As time moves on, we'll disconnect from money. And then the nationalisms, that concept of nationalism, that America is separated from Russia and China, well, intellectual honesty will tell you, no, that's not true. We aren't separated from China or Russia at all. In fact, we're entangled to them for survival. Because not only do we have to change our system, we got to change their system. Their ego-conscious system of education must change also. So we don't allow this current education process to drag us down. Our whole education system needs to change. If you're a spiritualist, an intellectual, and can come to a place of intellectual honesty, you'll have to agree with the basic principle of dismantling money, because it's not real. In fact, this ego-conscious structure, this education of ego consciousness, basically it's pushing Earth. The way we're running our education and our social systems, it is a self-producing system that is generating its own environment on Earth that's causing a carbon problem. We're at 400 million parts per million. At the end of this century, we're going to be at 600 parts per million. That's double the average of 280 to 300 parts per million that kept Earth's ecosystem stable. So this education system of money, justice, power, is on a roll to actually do tremendous harm to Earth, to where our environment totally breaks down. And if our environment is dictating our behavior, which it is, what do you think that's going to look like? It's not going to be pretty when people are fighting to survive in that environment. If we want to improve human consciousness on Earth, we have to tear down all of education. It all must go. The education to replace it is one of reality, one of real things, not unreal things, real things. We must start teaching that money is not real. We must start teaching that we don't need lawyers and judges in a system, a social structure that is working correctly. They are unnecessary. They are unnecessary educations. In fact, those educations themselves cause our environment to be harmful because that education is about money and scarcity. So the correct lessons that we need to teach really do evolve around tearing down money. If we can tear down, dismantle money and get into what are real situations, real reality, and start working on our environments of building a real reality for people, a loving system, our love will transfer into the world and get reflected back at us. So now, when you leave your nice little home and you go out into the social structure, it is teaching you love. It's reflecting love back to you because we built it with compassion. Good example is we need trees everywhere that homeless people are hungry. Apple trees, peach trees, orange trees. That signifies a society that cares about humans. The system loves the humans. So now if a human is hungry and he happens to be homeless, he can eat an apple. That's a good starting point that we can start doing tomorrow. It's not hard to plant trees downtown for people to eat and stop trying to sell them food that should be free in the first place. See what the manipulation of money does? That's what it does. So we need to tear down all of education, from kindergarten to higher education. The educations that we need to keep are definitely the sciences of physics, astrology, medicine. Other than that, all that other education about money, economics, business degrees, law degrees, sociology, political, it's useless education because it's designed to keep the system, the money structure in place. It's not designed to let you be real. It's designed to keep you unreal. It's not designed to let you take your love and extend it into the world. It's designed to suppress that and manipulate your money and manipulate your mind into thinking into the material world, the material realm. To keep you brainwashed into believing things that should not be real, like money. Our education brainwashes everybody into thinking money is real. Therefore, we got lots of spiritual teachers out there writing books, doing DVDs, and making money in a system that they're attached to and will not tell you what really needs to be done. I thoroughly believe that honesty is more powerful than love, because love can be many truths. It can be twisted. It can be distorted. Human love is a distortion of the real love that's in our hearts. But honesty is the pursuit of truth. Honesty and intellectual honesty can do a lot better in this world than love, because it's a continuation of going to the truth, of finding the truth. And if the truth changes because of a new set of facts, it goes in that direction. Science is going to prove that the environment is the major human behavioral problem. Our environment causes us to do bad things. Not because we're missing love, or unspiritual, or we're less aware. We know what that is on the inside. We all have it. Just when we walk out the front door, our social systems suppress that energy. We are forced to participate in a world of negative energy due to money, because it's attached to everything. We end up fighting for it. We end up hurting each other when we don't want to hurt each other. We don't believe in that stuff. That's the real lesson that every spiritualist, intellectual, educator, if they're not expressing that, they themselves are caught up in capitalism and the fight for money. And you know what? They can create all kinds of justifications that, yeah, I'm supporting a lot of people with this. Bottom line is that just perpetuates the money illusion. We need to get to the most intelligent man walking the planet right now. Jacques Fresco and the Venus Project. We can build a world of automation and technology that is supplying human survival needs to where we're not fighting over money. This eliminates war, politics, greed. Becomes a sharing society. We can detach from materialism, thinking that a big home is right and justified for us because we're enlightened and we deserve that, because we know what love is. We've developed our consciousness to a higher state. So yeah, I get a big home from it. It's one big illusion of materialism. Materialism that is actually dragging our world down, because we can't build one of everything for everybody anyway without killing the planet, especially with the population growth we see in the next 20 years. We just need to be happy with what we got and share our materialism. We can do that. Technology can do that. And technology can do it without a class system. Believe it or not, our consciousness is not hooked to self-awareness and what we think love is. Our consciousness is actually connected to technology. Inside, we are love and light, and we are really a very scientific soul, because we are made of science. So as the science and our technology and automation come out into the world and start producing things, our consciousness will be affected by the technology. Our consciousness of love will not be affected by the spiritual teachings of spiritualists. It's unnecessary. What is necessary is letting technology become disconnected from money, the money illusion, so technology and the world we build with technology will raise our consciousness and raise it all together. It's a time period fragment. We all get raised together. The illusion that I can improve my consciousness inside this time, this slice of time connected to you, I can improve my thoughts a little bit, yeah, but that's about it. Yeah, I can improve my thoughts to where I feel good about myself. And I can improve my thoughts to where when I walk out into that environment that is so disordered due to money, I can justify it and rationalize it a little bit better. But is that outside world of money going to heal me? Make me really let my soul out and really help somebody else? Yeah, I can try to the best of my ability, but so far, the system compresses that. It's one of the reasons why I'm giving my material for free. As a statement that anytime you attach money to any lesson, to any concept, to any philosophy, it distorts that which you are trying to convey. Technology is actually our future, and it is actually the increase of consciousness that we will experience. Once the humans in this time period, this time age, figure out that technology can do a much better job and make it free and make it solar and make it clean and make it work with Earth and make it supply humans our needs worldwide to where we're sharing water, food, material, all our consciousness will be raised. As soon as automation destroys our stupid little human jobs, doing all this stupid little piecing together and agriculture, and automation and technology is supplying the manufacturing, the food, and our human labor is no longer necessary for survival, and technology is doing everything we need with no class structure, to where we are sharing the materials and the resources of Earth, then our consciousness improves without a single lesson of spirituality and love. Technology did it. We need to get to the global organization of technology so we can get to the Venus Project. It's the only correct system that will allow our species to prevent this ego consciousness structure that is on autopilot to take Earth to 600 million parts. It's the only structure that will prevent Earth and the ego consciousness of going to 600 parts per million of CO2 in the air. That was tough to get out, because that's not going to be a pretty world. I present the truth, intellectual honesty. And I won't sell you anything that's not. Lawyers and judges, we need to stop that education, because they perpetuate the projection of criminals who are human beings with a soul just like me, just like you, who can experience love. The human soul, the human species, is not broke. We don't need to learn spirituality and love. We are that. What we need to do is we need to change our social structures, our social systems, our environment. When we do that, wow, that's the age of enlightenment that we're all trying to teach each other. We don't teach that through writing books and DVDs. We teach that by changing the way in which we live. In fact, it's the only way.